Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi. BECHOROS Daf Chaf Vav. We are holding on the very bottom of Chaf Hem base, so it's 2 lines from the bottom. Here comes a kasha on Reish Lakish, who presented as follows. You see, a bechor is not meant to be shorn. It's asur min ha-Torah to share the bechor, lo sagais. What if some wool, some hair just sheds naturally, just from growth, it just detaches and sheds? Midrabanan, one may not benefit from those hair, for concern that he might be inclined. It might cause him to. It might tempt him to delay the akrava of the bechor when it's a tam, or in the case of a balmum, to just hold on to it so that he can have more of these sharings and sheddings until he gets to do the shechita. So, in the Rabbanan, currently speaking, you can't benefit from the hair, from the sheddings. However, according to Akavya b'Ma'alal mentioned in the Mishnah, after the fact, so after there's a shechita, or according to some, even after the bechor dies, at this point, he can benefit from that hair which he had put aside for the meantime. So now, after the death or the shechita took place, it's matter everything, even the sheddings. So according to Akavya, it's mutar. According to the Chachamim, it would be asur. There were 2 versions in the machlekes. According to some, the machlekes is when he shechted the bechor. In that case, Akavya ben Mahalal maintains, look, he's motivated. You see, he's trying to eat the bechor. He's not going to hold on to it. He's not going to delay. So there's no reason to forbid those sheddings after the shechita. Whereas according to Chachamim, it's still asur. We don't differentiate. Sheddings are asur for concern that it might cause delay in all circumstances. According to the other version of the machlekes, all agree that if he shechted it, it indicates motivation. He's not going to hold on to it. He's not trying to delay. The sheddings are mutar. It's only when the animal died, in which case the whole animal is asur b'hana. Before that died, you have to bury. What happens to the sheddings? Chacham maintain it's asur. Akavi says, you know what? It's after misa. There's no concern anymore. You can use the sheddings. Now, Reish Lakish presented as follows. You should know that the only way anybody would allow the sheddings is when this bechor who had a blemish, this bechor balmum, had already been certified as such by a mumcha, who gave a green light to go shecht it. So now it's a step to the shechita. At this point, we assume he's motivated to shecht it, to look after it, rather than just holding on to it. So in this case, we allow the sheddings to be used after the shechita. But if there was no mumcha involved, it was just a blemish which has yet to be certified as such, we don't give it that status. Meisvei comes a kasha from a brayso which indicates otherwise. Hatelish tzemer, person plucks some wool off the bechor tam, the unblemished bechor. That's a no-no. Ava b'shenol b'mum, even if it so happens that a blemish had surfaced on the bechor, and then he shechted it asur. You can't use that semer, which had come off while the animal was tam, unblemished. Nobody allows that. Certainly, in that case, all agree it's asur. Rashi explains, because if we allow it, then he's just going to hold on to it. He's going to hope he's going to hope that the animal gets a mum. So for all those reasons, he's going to hold on to it, and which makes it more convenient to shecht it in the backyard. So we disallow the sheddings. Time of the tam, apparently, that is specific to the fact that it's a tam. We turn to the next amud. But let's say it's blemished, even without that official certification, habalmum shari, then it's allowed. Aval b'shlei tira mumcha, even though there's no mumcha involved. That's a kasha on Reish Lakish, who sets it as a precondition. Answer: Tana kolech lo tira mumcha tam karilei. The brayso referred to a bechor tam, unblemished. It was even blemished, but it wasn't yet certified, and that's called unblemished. In fact, certification is required. Perhaps this question is up to machlekes. Do you need certification as a prerequisite or not? Okay, so once again, we have this brisa, the hair of the bechor who's a tam at this point. Even if a mum surfaced later, it's asur. Because nobody allows the sheddings of a bechor tam. Okay? So whether he plucked it or whether it shed, same story. However, let's say we have a blemished bechor whose wool had been detached, and then the bechor died. So there was no shchita, rather it died. Akavya ben malal matir allows these sheddings after the animal dies. V'chachamim oisrim, they don't allow. Okay, so they maintain that it has the same status as the dead bechor. It's asur, off limits. Okay, so that's opinion number one. Shitas Tanakam. The bechor balmum, meis. Akavi says yes, use the sheddings. Chacham say no. Here comes opinion number two in the brisa. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, loy baza hitar kama malala. No, if the animal died, even Akavi would not allow it. Rather, ela basar b'sa'ar b'char malum shenasha v'nicha b'chalon. Rather, only in a case where the sheddings was put aside, v'achakach shachta, then he shechta the b'char, which indicates motivation. Which indicates that he's trying to look after. He's not going to hold on. But then, in this case only, akavya ben malal matir. Akavi says it's okay to take the sheddings after the shechita. V'chamim ma'isr, they say no, we don't differentiate. It's us. Okay, so that's opinion number two. Opinion number one was that the machlokes was by a bechor that died. Opinion number two is only when there was a shechita. Rabbi Yasi, it says Rabbi Yasi, my father, whose name was Chalafta, Moida, Abba Chalafta, my father, Chalafta, who was one of the members of the opposition to Rabbi Yasi, he was one of the to Akavya, he was one of the Chachamim, he would agree that Bazeh, he would agree in this case, Shumutta, that it's okay to use. Because all agree that if he did a shechita, chose motivation, it's okay. Aval b'yichud amr chacham, but truthfully, b'yichud, b'emes, b'boros, says Rashi, with clarity, chacham allow the use of these sheddings after the shechita. They said, look, leave it in the kavi, shemesh tikva. Perhaps there's some hope. Which means that if he'll shecht it, then he can go back and use the sheddings. Shechatoi, divrei HaKalmut, all agree that if he did shechita, it's okay. It's only by mace when it died, which is in line with the first opinion in this brisa. Machlokes is limited to mace. But there's no indication that the owner is motivated. Akavi mamalal matir, he says it's still okay. Now, it would seem like opinion number three, which is Rabbi Yasi, is precisely repeating opinion number one. Hayat that the machlokes between Akavi who allows the sheddings and Chacham who forbid is specific to a mace. But by shechita, all agree. We see the owner is motivated to take care of the animal and to shecht it. All agree it's okay. So why repeat the same opinion again? So there must be some difference over here. And perhaps the difference lies. The machlokes is pinpointed to that question of whether, aside from being a malmum, it has to be certified as such by a mumcha in order to give us this allowance. Allah, there must be a tira mumcha. The difference between opinions is whether or not we need a mumcha on board to certify it as a balmum, to open the door, to give us the green light, to make it ready for shechita. Tanakama says, yep, that is a precondition. Hitira mumcha. If a mumcha certified in, yep, then we allow the sheddings after the shechita, but otherwise not. Because only when you have the mumcha on board, it's so close to shechita, it's ready to go, but otherwise not. V'asar b'yesi l'meima, comes Rabbi Yasi, which is the third opinion in the brisa, and disagrees. He doesn't require that as a precondition. As long as it's a balmum, it's okay. Avagad lo yitira mumcha, even without the mumcha. So perhaps this statement of Rish Lakish that the mumcha's certification is indeed a requirement is really up for grabs. Machlekes Tanaim. Amar Rav, no. The kol yam yitira mumcha in ilay. All agree a mumcha is needed. Ilay yitira ilay, but otherwise it doesn't work. So back to the Bryce, we have three shitas. What are the three opinions? What is the substance of the machlekes? The truth is, v'shalosh machlekes b'davar, we have three opinions on this topic, unrelated to this question of certification. So again, according to Akavya, the sheddings are mutter. Chachamim say asur. But we have three ways to explain the machlekes. Is the machlekes whether there was shchita or misa, or is it only by shchita, but by misa they all agree it's asur? Or perhaps by shchita they all agree it's okay, machlekes is only by misa. So three ways to look at it. Because we have mitigating factors in all direction. The question is which one to adopt. Shchita, in a way you could say, is more reason to allow, because you see he's motivated to shecht it. He doesn't look like the type to hold on to the animal. The Tanakama Savar, the first opinion, holds pligi b'meis. We don't differentiate between death and shchita. Either way, we have the same machlekes. So why in the Mishnah do we find the machlekes? By relating to mace. So why in the Brisa do we relate the machlekes to mace? To highlight Akavya's shita, that is lenient even by mace. Next, Rabbi holds, b'meis divrei kol asur. If it died, there's no indication that the owner is behaving and motivated to address the bechor, in the proper time frame. So all agree it's asur to take the sheddings, for he might be inclined to delay even further. Kipligi b'shacht, machlekes is by shchita. Akavya says okay, Chum say not. But asur b'shlamema comes the third sheet and says b'shachta, when there's a shchita, divrei kol mut, all agree we can allow access to the sheddings. Kipligi b'meis, machlekes is only by meis. Amar of Nachman, what's the bottom line? Halach Rabbi Yehuda. We go with Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, which is that machlekes is only by shchita, but by misa all agree it's asur. Why do we adopt this approach? Because in the Meseches Idiyos, which is the chosen, those halachas were presented on the first day of Elazar ben Azariah's assuming of the mantle of Nesius. Everybody was there, it was discussed and elaborated and analyzed, and it was considered a unanimously agreed upon halacha. So anything in that Masech is called Bechirasa, that has more weight. So according to the version discussed there, this is the correct context of the machlekes, and that's why we adopt it. Because in the Mishnah and Ediyos, it's aligned with Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, the Snan, as we find in the Mishnah. We have the sheddings of the Bechor Balmum, which were put aside, and then he did shchita. So we see the machlekes is by shchita only. Akavya b'malal mater allows it. So we see the machlekes is focused on shchita, but by the bechor which just died, by misa, all agree it's asur. Amar of Nachman Yitzchak. Guess what? If you take a look at our Mishnah and Maseches Bechoros, we'll find a similar indication. If we take a close look at the lashon, we'll find that it jives as well. There's none. Look at the last halacha of the Mishnah. So after we discussed the machlekes, we have a new halacha. There's none. Semahar meduldal b'bechor. So we have some loose hanging here on the bechor itself. It didn't fall down, but you see it's like separate from the rest of the wool growing on the. So it's been detached from its source, but it's still enmeshed. Is it part or not? If it looks like part of the rest, okay. Also, otherwise not. Now, who's speaking in this part of the Mishnah? Whose opinion is reflected here? Mani. Is it Rabbi Yasi speaking? And he's telling us, look, what happened? Did he shech the bechor? Now, Rabbi Yasi holds that if there was a shchita, even the sheddings which are sitting up in the closet are okay. Certainly, if it's still on the animal, bein akavya, bein rabban, but whether it's akavya or rabban, there's no disagreement. Either mishashari, whether it's part of the rest of the wool or not, it would be okay. Even on the shelf, it's okay. Apparently, the animal died. Now, v'Rabbanan, the animal died. Now, if it's the Rabbanan speaking, according to Rabbanan, whether it's still on the animal, it looks like part of the animal, it looks like it's part off the animal, either way it's asr. Because, as Rashi explains, the wool on the dead bechor is asr as well, has to be buried. And detached sheddings, Rabbanan say, have the same status. So why we differentiate between, whether it looks like part or not? Via kavya, if it's a kavya speaking, that this semi-detached, this dangling, hair, if it looks like part of the rest, it's okay, otherwise not. It's the opposite. If anything, it's better off than on, because the animal as is going to be buried. If Chami should have stated the other way. It looks like part of the rest of the wool. It's asr because it's demisaka asr, because it's part of the dead animal, which becomes asr in its entirety. If it looks separate, it's dangling, it looks separate, then it would be a reason to permit it. The mikara talash, because it was detached before the animal died, then it separated. So it totally doesn't match with Rabbi Yossi. Ela pshita Rabbi Yehuda. Oh. So apparently this Mishnah, this halacha, will have to be in line with Rabbi Yehuda's perspective of the machlokes between Akavia and Chachamim regarding detached hair. So again, Rabbi Yehuda is the one who says, if animal dies, all agree detached sheddings are asur. By Shchita, Akavia allows, Chachamim don't. So now it's going to work. What happened here? Ilam b'im meis, this bechor died. Okay, then according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's no hope for whether the wool is on or off. There's no hope. According to all opinions, whether it's on or off, it's asr. Whether it looks like part of the, either it means whether it looks like it's part of the rest or it looks detached. Either way, it's asr. Apparently, he did shchit on the bechor. It didn't die naturally. He shechted it. And the Mishnah says, this semi-detached hair, well, it depends. If it looks like the rest, then it's okay. If it looks detached, it's asr. Now, vila kavya, if we're calling like a kavya, what's the problem? Whether it appears like the rest of the wool or appears separate, it will be okay. Because after shchita, even detached wool is okay, according to kavya. Apparently, this opinion, this halacha, matches with the Rabbanon, who say that even if you shechted the bechor, if it's really detached, it's asr. It's asr forever. Once asr, always asr. And the saving grace will be if it looks like the rest of the wool around it, still on the animal. That confirms Rabbi Yehuda's approach to the whole machlokes, that it's limited to a case of shchita. That explains the halach in the Mishnah. But if there was misa, all agree, the detached hair is asr. Okay, so again, let's just recap. Minat Torah, one may not do any work or share a bechor or any other carbon for that matter. Now, if the wool happens to shed, whether he plucked it or it happened to shed by itself, but the Rabbanan it's asur, in order to discourage, the owner from being tempted to delay the shchita of the animal, delay the hakrava, in order to benefit from these sheddings. But what happens with those sheddings post nisa, if the animal died or there was shchita? Kavi says it's okay, Chacham say not. And we have three ways to understand the machlokes. Either the machlokes is by shchita only, but not by misa, or by shchita all agree it's okay, by misa is the machlokes, or the machlokes by both. By Rabbi Yana, here comes a new question, similar but a bit different. Instead of a bechor, he took a oila, unblemished, and he ripped off some of the tzemer. What's the status? Toilish me'ikim adashari? Says the Gemara, what do you mean? If he actually pulled it off, that's a transgression. He's not allowed to do that. Of course it's asur. It's a Rasha, Rashi says. Now we're going to Rabbanan that hold that by a bechor, those detached are asur even after shchita, right? But perhaps it's only by balmum, where the fellow is going to hang on to it in order to benefit from the shedding. So the balmum is not meant for a carbon. But here we have an oila temima, unblemished, which is meant to be offered as a carbon. And there's some sheddings here. And then he went and shechted the oila, brought it as a carbon. What's the status of those sheddings? On the one hand, you can say it's asur, like anything else. But on the other hand, you can say, look, by the bechor, it's not coming to atone. It's not coming for kapara. So there, he takes his time. He might just hang on to it for the sheddings to come. But by an oila, by a carbon, which he needs to be makriv, maybe there is no such concern that he'll just delay. So the first question off the bat is, the first response off the bat is, what do you mean? He pulled it off, he's a rush, of course it's us. Rather, he didn't pull it off, it just got detached from the unblemished oil. What's the status of that semer after the shchita of the oil? Now, the chatas v'asham lo tiboil, there's no question if the type of karm which offers kapara, like a chatas and asham, the kivun kapara also, since coming to atone for a sin from which he has benefit, he wouldn't just tarry and delay. So there's no concern, therefore we don't forbid the sheddings. The chayva maser nami, on the other side of the spectrum we have bechor and maser, which are not, to give the lava kapara, also not coming for kapara. So there the concern is very real that he'll just delay in order to benefit from the, he's not in a rush. Mashilu. Okay, so we know these two things. On the one side of the spectrum we have the bechor and maser, asur. On the other side we have the chatas v'asham mutter. What about something in the middle? A carbon which offers some element of kapara. Is he tempted to delay or not? The question will apply to oila by an oila. My. What's the status? Given the ikar, lava kapara also, since it's primarily not coming for a kapara, mashilo, you might be tempted to delay, to benefit from the shedding, so there's reason to forbid. Or you can say, given the oila nami mechapra say, ultimately oila does have a secondary sort of purpose to atone for a fellow who overlooked the mitzvah saseh, loy mashlo, so since he has that benefit, he wouldn't delay. And there's no reason to forbid these sheddings. Tashmai comes a raya, telosh tzemer and b'chor tam. Okay, so this is the third time today we have this brisa. He plucked off the tzemer from an unblemished b'chor. That's a goner. Even if a mum developed later, shachtei asr, and he shechted, these sheddings are asr. Let's make a diuk. Time of the toilish. The more I figured at this point, the toilish means literally, because he plucked it. Oh, so that's why it's asr. But because he did the isser, right? Hanitlash. But let's say it happened on its own; it just got detached, it shed. Then it seems to be okay, shari, right? And this is a bachar where there's reason to be concerned that he might delay. Because certainly delay mashal, which gives him chapar. Of course, he wouldn't delay things, and there's no reason to forbid. Does that prove anything? No. Who did not feel nitlash nami asr? When the Brisa spoke about plucking, it really referred to, it's just an example, but really was speaking even if it's shed on its own. Either way, it's asr, and there's nothing to work with in this Brisa. We thought the Brisa indicated that nitlash it's mutter. No, everything's asr. And perhaps by the oil as well. Vadik tana in toilish, and the reason why the Brisa referred to manual plucking, ladicha kachet akavya, was just meant to highlight Akavi's opinion, the lenient opinion, that even if it was manually plucked, he doesn't forbid the sheddings. The Balmum, when it's a Bechor Balmum, Afilu b'telish nami shari. So only by the tam, we did an outright Isser, it's Asa, but by the, according to Chachamim. But according to Akavia, it's mortar, and even by Telish. The Balmum, Afilu b'telish nami shari, even if he plucked it, it's mutter, nami shari. Okay, Vana Nosha Tnan, says the Gemara. But if that's the case, so why back in our Mishnah did we have to speak about Nosha that it's shed? Which sounds like a kabi is only going to permit it if it's shed on its own. Why not just speak about outright plucking as well, just as this price? There it was meant to highlight the Rabbanan Shita. Vana Noshatnan, Tana Noshar, to highlight the Rabbanan Shita, even if it's shed on its own, you don't see any indication of a foul play. Rabbanan still say it's asur. And the Brisa, it went the other way to highlight Akavi's lenient opinion. Tana Tailish, that even if he manually plucked it, Akavi would maintain its mut. Okay, so bottom line, we had a shaila regarding other karbanis. So by the Bechor, we discussed it in great length. But regarding the chatas of Asham, there's no concern there. He's not going to delay things. But the Oila, we left it sort of unresolved. So back to the last part of the Mishnah, we have this a strand of wool which had been technically detached but still enmeshed in the surrounding wool. The Mishnah says if it looks separate from the rest of the wool, then it's considered separate and it's asur. How do you define that? We have two definitions. Amar Belaz, Amar Rish Lakish. Kol shekaroi hapakapi roishay. So, if this would be the hair, right? This is the head. This is the base. So it overturned. So now it looks like this, like an overturned, like a V. Okay, so this is the wool on the animal, and this was poking up. The head and the base of that hair is basically folded, are sticking out. In which case, it clearly looks separate. Rav Nosmar Ishi Amar is a different definition. Kol she'enim esmachem agiza. If it doesn't appear, even, doesn't lie there, like with the rest of the wool. Rish Lakish, my time Lamakar Nosmar Ishi. Why did Rish Lakish choose his approach over the second approach, a lying approach? Amar B'lah. So he answers like this: because Rish Lakish holds it's not a practical way to define it. V'shi efshal agiza. You don't find, wool on the animal without, below niman, without the hair and the strands, hamadudalis, which are sort of, facing upwards. That wouldn't be a factor. Rashi says otherwise you'll never have a sheep, which is mutter. Rather, what's considered einanira means that it's totally, overturned and looks separate. Okay, new parak says the Mishnah. Kama Yisrael chayavim the tapul bebechor. So we know that Yisrael gives the bechor, the firstborn kosher animal. It's his to keep. If it's unblemished, he takes it as a carbon. If otherwise, he shechts it in his backyard. Now, can the Yisrael just take the newborn on the day of Mazel Tov and give it to the kohen? No. The kohen deserves to get a goat which will survive. He's not a animal raiser. He needs the Yisrael to look after it for a minimal time, past a certain threshold of development, and then give it to the kohen. And we'll learn it from a pasuk. Ad kama, to what point are the Yisrael chayavin l'tapel b'bechor, are they meant to look after and raise the bechor? B'daka, if it's a light animal, a sheep or goat, 30 days, then it goes to the kohen. The bagas of a heavy animal, 50 days. By the daka, it's 3 months. Now let's say the kohen says, look, Rabbi, why bother taking care of it? I'll take it right now. No, you can't do that because it looks like he's paying him off. Right? It looks like he's tempting him to, encouraging him to give him the gift because he's lightening his load. You can't do that. The gift must be given to the kohen. They are covered in an honorable way without anything in exchange. No goods or services received. Suppose the kohen approaches the farmer within this prescribed period, and he says, Tneoli, you can give it to me. Hareza light, not only should give it to him until the time is up. But let's say the bechor is already blemished and ready for shchita. There's no point in holding on to him. But the kohen says, look, Tneoli shechlenu. Hand it over and I'll eat it right away. I'll save you hassle, I'll save me hassle. Mutter, you can do that because in this case, the kohen is not sacrificing anything. He's just taking it, eating it right away. It doesn't look like he's paying him off. Likewise, in the time of the Mikdash, so if the bechor was unblemished and ready for hakrava, the kohen addresses the farmer and says, look, I'm not doing you favors, I'm going to the Beis HaMikdash now, give it to me, I'll take care of it. Give it to me in its current state. I'll bring it as a carbon. So I'm not giving up anything for you. Mutter, in this case, since he's not sacrificing anything for the Yisrael, it's okay. Even though the Yisrael ultimately benefits from early delivery. Now, how soon are you meant to eat a bechor? Prior to its first birthday. Ha-bechor nechal shana b'shana, meant to eat it within the first year. Bein tam, whether it's a tam as a carbon, bein balmum, whether it's blemished, shenamar, if Hashem l'kechat echlenu shana b'shana, within the year. No, the mum b'tech shnasai. Okay, it's within the year, and suddenly there's a mum. You don't get an extension. Rashi l'kaim, kol shnei mesachayis, you can keep it until 12 months. So make sure before the birthday. Lachar shnasai, and Rashi l'kaim, lamad yom, we'll see this in the Gemara, that the Mishnah is adding, let's say it's past the year, so it's nowadays, bisman hazeh, you can't bring it as a carbon, so it's already past it. You're waiting for it to get a mum, and suddenly a mum arrives. So in this case, you have 30 days to consume it. Menad immediately says, how do we know that a farmer has to, raise the bechor for, minimum time? Amrav Kana, the pasuk says, bechor b'necha titenli, kein tas l'tzoincha So if you take a look at the psukim, if you have it on the margin, it's very convenient. So we have two psukim in Shmois Perek Chav Beis. Pasuk Chav Ches reads, "Don't delay the bringing of your first fruit, the bikurim." And then b'chor b'necha titan li, right? You should redeem the firstborn sons. And likewise by your animals. Kintas l'sharcha, those are the heavy animals. L'tzaynecha, the light animals. So we connect the two concepts. That the Pidyon haben, which we know requires 30 days at a minimum. The pasuk says you have to wait 30 days to redeem the firstborn son. That concept applies to animals as well. Hold on to them for 30 days. Rashi explains. That applies to light animals. So we connect B'char B'necha to Tzayncha, which is the second animal mentioned. But then we go back to Miliascha V'demacha, which is the Bikurim, which is a 50-day operation. Rashi explains because the grain ripens Pesach time, and you bring it as Bikurim Shavuos time 50 days later. So it's a 50-day operation, right? So you look after it for 50 days prior to delivering to the Beis HaMikdash. Likewise, the first animal mentioned on the list, Sharcha, the heavy animals, require a 50-day preparatory period before giving it to the Kohen. So 50 days applies to the Sharcha, which is the first item mentioned, and the B'char B'necha, which indicates 30 days, applies to the second animal, Tzeinech. Efechano, perhaps in reverse. Who says the 30 goes on this and the 50 on that? Mistar, it makes sense, the Mekadel of Mekadem, the earlier time frame, which is the Bikurim, which is mentioned first, goes to the first animal, which is Sharcha, heavy animals, to Machal Me'acha. The second time frame, which is the B'char B'necha, 30 days, goes to the second animal on the list, which is light animals. Adrab, just the opposite, the Samachle. Let's work with proximity. So B'char B'necha Titan Li is stated right next to Sharcha. So perhaps Sharcha have a 30-day time period. Elam Rava says, Rava, I'll take a different approach. Amakra Tase. So regarding the 30-day period for the tzayin, that's because it's stated next to Pidyon haben, 30 days. But regarding the heavy animals, it says Tase. Can Tase L'Sharcha, to add another asiyah, another element in the experience, to extend the time period. Torah adds another element of asiyah. You have to hold on to it for another period past 30 up to 50. Says, how do you know it's 50? Ve'imashita, maybe it's 60. 60 days? There's no number mentioned in the pasuk. The answer is Torah Shabbat Peh. Hashem granted us the ability to delve into the true meaning of the psukim, of the mitzvahs. Torah granted the Chachamim the ability to discern and determine the proper time frame. And some Farshim learned that they went over to Bikurim, where they found they went to Pesach to derive this number. And the Rambam explains what's the connection. How do you get to 50? He says because the Baal Ta'achad, Isra of delaying a carbon, at a minimum is 50 days. That's the most strict shita. If you have a carbon ready, Pesach, you have to bring it by the next Yom Tov, which is Shavuos. So we find that Baal Ta'achad, that there's a 50-day time period. So likewise, they applied the halacha to the Sharcha as well. So 50 days, and you give it to the Kohen. Tanam, you find the same in a Braisa, as per Rava's approach for the sourcing of these two time periods. B'char b'necha titan li, 30-day b'char period applies to tzayin. What about the heavy animals? Perhaps also which extends the period. Is extending by the shar, and it was determined by the chachamim to determine mekan amr. Based on this, we learn how long does the Yisrael have to tend to the b'char? Depends. By madak, a light animal 30 days. Bagasa, the heavy one 50. Rabbi Yisrael, it's much more. Badaka, by the light animal, it is 3 months. You know why? It has lots of care. It's very tender. Tana, the Bryce explained, because of its very delicate teeth. So until it develops proper teeth, it can't chew grass out of the ground. It needs its mother to nurse it, take care of it. So you meant to hold on to it for 3 months till it develops to a certain point where the Kohen can now look after it on his own. Okay, so bottom line, Mazel Tov, we have a Bechor. How soon to the Kohen? Well, if it's a Balbum and the Kohen says, offers to take it for Shechita, immediate Shechita, Gesundheit, or a Tam, likewise, Tam Yisam Migdash, Gesundheit. But otherwise, gotta hold on to it. As per the Pasuk requires, which is 30 days by the Behemadaka, 50 days by Behemagasa, and according to Rabbi Yossi, 3 months by Behemadaka. Okay, all the best to you and Atzlach.